Hey everybody, this is John and this is Adventures in Wrenching. Today I'm going to do a quick little tour of all the different projects that I've got that are going to be covered in the channel or that are already being covered in the channel, just so you guys can kind of get a heads up of what's going on. Now, my wife, when she was still alive, was very supportive of my addiction, and I could call it that because how many projects does one guy really need? But if you share that, then you already know that the answer to that question is you can never have too many projects. So we already talked about the Big Bear, the Yamaha Moto 4 4x4. That's one of my toys. It runs, it drives, works pretty darn good. I beat it up a little bit. My baby, which is already covered here, I gotta move the tables that I had set up for the barbecue here. Project 944. Where I last left off is I got the cam tower off on it, and that's going to be one of my next videos as we're going to continue on with that. It is a 5-speed car. It's got about 200,000 miles on it. It's a little dirty on the inside, but we're going to get this back on the road because this is an absolute blast to drive. Next, a 1955 Nash custom Rambler with a flathead 6. And I'll show that in a second. This does have the door. This does or did run. This was one of my wife's favorite cars, and it has actually been driven around, but it has not been used in like 11 years since it was parked. So will we be able to get it running again? I don't know, because I found a few things that might be a little bit of a problem. It is kind of a rare car. Does have the factory 4-speed automatic, so it is overdrive. It gets about 30 miles to the gallon. Ooh, that's pretty nasty in there. But it was also a factory air conditioning car, the all-weather eye. And like I said, I'll show you here. See if I can get this to cooperate. Oh, there's one. Try to do this with one hand. Here's what scares me. I'm hoping it has sat for so long that the coolant crystallized. Now, you got the old York style AC in there. This thing is still free, but this sucks about half the horsepower out of the vehicle. I probably will go ahead and keep it with air conditioning, but I'll probably put a sanding compressor in there and figure out how we're going to do that. The fan mechanism has been pulled out because electric fans were wired in. Odd bit of engineering. The water pump is down here, but the water pump was run off the generator, similar to how the Chevys back in the day, the old 348s and 409s had the power steering that was run off the generator. What I've done is I had to do a little bit of fabricating here, and this is a Bosch unit out of a Volkswagen that used to run the fan. So instead of a 6-volt generator, I am fabbing in a 12-volt alternator that still had the shaft that can still run my water pump. It's going to work because it still used a voltage regulator that went right there. Here's your big AC box. Other problem that was on this is, I think if I move this, yeah, right here, and I hadn't ground it down yet, but that right there is welding slag, because this has a water jacket to outside, I think, hairline crack on the block. So I'm going to have to grind that down and take a closer look at it and see if it still leaks. The freeze plugs were okay on it. It's really a cool car. The plan, about 2 years from now, oh, definitely sunshine there. The plan 2 years from now, so that would be what, the 2021? Let me back up. In 2020, I want to take Project 944. I want to take the Porsche on Power Tour. And then the year after that, I'd like to have the Nash running the way I want to, but I'm going to have a little fun with this, hot rodding it, because I'm going to go ahead and convert it from a 4-door to a 2-door, put some bucket seats in it, keep the flathead 6, see if I can find a Hudson Hornet head for it, because that had the dual carbs, and run some straight pipe off the side of it and just have fun with it. Try to take that, see how far I get before I break. Next project, 1950 GMC 1-ton extended bed. Now this, body-wise, is all here, and this has been in the family since about 1970. It was an old air conditioning company truck. Really solid. Very few things. You got a little through there, but it's a solid truck. No engine, no transmission now. Can't open it from that side. I was going to, now like I said, this has been in the family for a long time, and it has never been titled since 1970-ish. Still opens. I have a lot of this stuff in that box right over there, but it's going to get all newer gauges, newer floor panel, everything else. Here's the gas tank, 30-gallon gas tank out of the Nash, but it's been crunchied right there. But we're gonna, I was going to, like I said, convert a lot of this over, make it a more modern system, but I think I've changed my mind. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the right length of Chevy truck, whether it be a Suburban or a later model crew cab, and I'm going to match up the wheelbase, and I'm going to pull this body off, hopefully find a totaled one, pull the body off of that, and then swap bodies, this 1950 on top of a later model frame, so I get a newer drivetrain, newer transmission, disc brakes, yada yada, because I'm lazy and getting older, so that will work out better. Next project, bought this at auction about 10 years ago, and I actually did have this running, 1971 Honda 754 CB. Actually ran pretty good. I had brought it back enough. The seat wasn't quite as bad on it way back then, and actually had it running, and then had an electrical fire and smoked all the wires all the way up through the handlebars, which is where they run. So now I have to pull all of these wires out, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and kind of start from scratch, take it down to the frame, rewire it, make a little bobber out of it, a little personal bike. Let me take you around to the outside. Of course, you guys, if you've watched any of the videos, already know that I have my 1989 Jeep YJ, which is out here on the street right now. It runs and drives. I already got the new exhaust in it. Later model engine out of a 96 Grand Cherokee. It is fuel injected instead of the old carbureted version. But I got a lot to do on this one still. Did not bring the keys, but the passenger side is unlocked. And a bunch of junk in it because I cleaned out my truck so that my son could use it, because his car, a Chevy Cruze, has what goes wrong on Chevy Cruzes, and that's the water pump. Go figure. Fortunately, it is under factory warranty, so it is at the dealership, and he is using my F-150 Super Crew. This still has the back seat. It's actually in really good condition for its age. Even the dash is not cracked, and in Arizona, that's amazing. But smoked the radio. I need to take care of that. The gauges are all analog, mechanical style gauges. Half my lights don't work. It runs and drives okay. It gets a little quirky at times, but I literally take this out for my other YouTube channel, which is Retired Renegade Adventures, and actually go exploring. Side project is the 2005 Chrysler Crossfire, which is a Mercedes MLK. This is not my car. This is my son's car, my other son's car, and it's been crunched pretty hard in the front end. It's got a box A title, so it's not showing that it's wrecked, but it's wrecked. If I had the key for it, I'd show you. Now, we do have the subframe for the front of this, and that's going to be another project. There are other little side projects as well. So there you have it. In a nutshell, I've got a good 5 projects that, or 6, that I can share, and I'm going to be covering those as we go. And then whatever else I come along. I know I've got a friend that's got an older Chevy pickup that needs some love. And that is the gist of the channel. I want you guys to come along. I do appreciate the ones that have watched so far. If you think you're interested, if you found any of this entertaining, want to watch an old guy get stupid, please like, subscribe, follow me on Facebook, and I will see you on the next adventure. Bye now.